What's going on, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here, Cheesehead TV. I'm joined by a very special guest. It's Big Matt Breakdowns. It's Malcolm Kennedy. Malcolm, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good, Aaron. How are you?
You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm really excited to get to Wisconsin and watch Packers training camp. And I've wanted to get you on for quite a bit now, and we've kind of been playing
Yeah.
tag in the DMs. But I'm telling you, for any Cheesehead TV viewer, listener, etc., who doesn't
hmm
know that Malcolm does amazing breakdowns, your stuff is awesome, dude. I can't thank you enough for taking some time and talking to me today because you've got the goods. You've got a good
Well,
eye, and you're doing great stuff on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, man.
well, thank you, and thank you for seeing my work as quality work. And I know that you know that this isn't easy. So
No,
to be
no.
recognized by you is a blessing for sure.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, but man, you're doing the work. And that is,
Yeah.
as you say, it's not easy. Like, here's the thing. Like, I watched some of your stuff like about 2 months ago, I want to say, and the detail you put into it and the work you do as far as breaking down the film and looking at these rookies, looking at the draft picks, and some guys who've been on the squad and how they project and things of that nature, you're doing
Yeah.
great work, man. So keep it up. I'm really
Uh,
excited
thank
about it.
thank you. Will do.
Absolutely.
Will
So
do.
we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A here on the rookies, a little bit of a rookie watch here. I
Okay.
know I know you've done, a lot of work on all these guys, but here it is, point blank, right out of the gate. Do you have a favorite rookie? And look, I understand that not every like there's different scenarios and context for this kind of question where it's like to do
Yeah.
what, right? Like
Right. Right. Right.
he could be on the bench but be really talented, etc. I just want to
Yeah.
know, is there a rookie that you absolutely love this year?
Well, first I want to say this is probably the most excited I've been about a rookie class in maybe a few years.
There you go.
Uh, but not a popular pick, but I have to say Carl Brooks was my favorite pick.
Really? Okay. All
Carl
right.
Brooks, I watched him a lot at Bowling Green. 300 pounds playing edge and producing a lot. He played against Mississippi State this past season. Didn't look bad at all. SEC. That's the
The big boy
projection
league.
scale. Yeah,
Right.
so he held his own. Didn't have too much help on the side of him. So didn't get like any sacks or anything. But I thought he played well against SEC competition. He dominated I think they're in the CUSA conference or something like that
Right.
in Central Michigan or Bowling Green, excuse me. But
Right.
he flat out balled, and I didn't think the Packers was going to get him because he didn't test well. So when I seen that he didn't test well, I'm like, oh, he's
Right.
not a Packer.
There,
Throw
there's
that
no, there,
out in
he's
the
off the
garbage.
board, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a
So
little bit. It's
yeah.
interesting. Brian's been a little different in that regard, as far
Uh-huh.
like especially compared to Ted when it comes to
Yeah.
the testing, right? Like as
Yeah.
far as like being a little bit more open to maybe guys who have good tape who don't test well. Like there's
Right.
no doubt that that's kind of I would say a little new in Green Bay. Like that
Yeah.
hasn't been the norm, right?
Yeah.
Um, looking at obviously the first pick gets all the attention. We'll give him some attention here. What do
hmm
you expect from Lucas Van Ness? Because he is a very young player who clearly the Packers are very high on. They expect to come in at least initially and be part of the rotation. You would expect. What do you expect from Lucas Van Ness in 2023?
Well, immediately I think he will compete for that edge too, alongside Preston Smith if Rashawn Gary misses games.
Right.
When I watched him on film, I noticed that he needed to work on some pass rush things with his hand techniques and things like that. But I think he could be a great run defender, a great edge setter, and he jolts and gets into the chest of tackles, even some guards at times when he plays inside. So I'm expecting him on pass downs to kind of rush from the inside, rush from like that
Right.
three tech, the five tech position when the Packers go into that wide nine. But I expect him to at least start on the rundowns at edge. I think he could be a great edge run defender. Granted, Kingsley Agnagbari can set a good edge
He
as
can
well.
play. Yeah, no doubt about it. I will say
Yeah,
I'm excited for the prospect of Enigbare and Van Ness on the field together, especially
yeah,
because Van Ness, as you say, he's pretty legit inside. And I
Yeah,
think
he
because you can kind of count on him, his ability, his athletic ability, there's a lot of power there. I mean, I'm with you. I think he could like cause some havoc,
yeah.
especially against some of the centers and guards that he might be going up against. I mean, that's youth, that's athleticism, that explosion that could cause some problems. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
a really good way to look at it.
yeah, excuse me. You say Nag Barry. I can't wait till a fully healthy Rashawn Gary comes
Oh
back because
man,
I just want to
come
see
on now.
Lucas Van Ness on
Yes,
one edge and
sir. Yes,
Rashawn Gary on the
sir.
other edge.
Yes,
It gave me
sir.
yesterday. It kind of like popped in my mind. Like this is giving me chills just thinking about it because I seen a report saying Rashawn
Right.
Gary his healing process is going well.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't know if he's going to be ready by week 1, but when you get him those reps and he gets
Yep.
back to feeling himself and just put him and Lucas Van Ness on the edge and I just go. Just
Just
go.
go. Just get
Just
upfield.
go.
Absolutely.
I
Let's go from the first pick all the way to the bottom slash end of the draft and or after the draft. Is there a undrafted guy that you like? As far as I mean, look, every camp there's a couple of guys who are undrafted who
mhm,
make some noise and maybe they get some headlines for a day or two, but they more often than not don't stick around. Sometimes they do. Is
yeah.
there a guy who you think has a legit chance or that you really like from the undrafted class this year?
I really like Brenton Cox. I thought he could have got drafted. I thought he would have gotten drafted. Uh, Again, another SEC player where he held his own down in the SEC, lined
Right.
up against some Goliath talent, Alabama, the
Right.
Georgias, you name them. Uh, and I wanted to add another UDFA, Kadeem Telford out of
Okay.
UAB. He played.
Nice.
I think he's listed at tackle, but I mentioned him in my past deep dive with the preseason deep dive, and I said that I wouldn't be surprised if he could kick inside the guard. He's a decent mover at the tackle position,
Nice.
and for his size, he has a really wide base. So I wonder if it doesn't really work at tackle for him, try him on the inside at guard, and I think maybe he gets onto the practice
I
squad
mean,
this year.
that is the Packers' MO, right?
Yeah,
College tackles who kick inside and are athletic and can do the
yeah,
zone stuff at guard. That
right.
wouldn't that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and just to circle back to Brenton Cox, I made a little soft take of a roster prediction. A soft
Nice.
take.
Soft, very
Uh,
soft. It's very
I can
early. It's very
I
early,
can see
Malcolm.
us I can see us carrying 6 edges on this in this group just
You
because I think
see,
they could be
that's so funny you say that because I want to believe that, but six edges,
six
really?
edge rushers because one, your interior D line is not the strongest. You
Correct.
got Lucas Van Ness that can kick inside, as we
Yep.
mentioned. Rashawn
There
Gary
you
did
go.
some kicking inside,
Yep.
as we mentioned. So, I again, it's strength in numbers, and if you look at all the top defenses in this league, their defensive lines, you can rotate them in and out.
That's the waves, right? The waves
Yeah,
of bodies you can put out there. Yes, 100%.
and
Yeah.
I don't want to break any
Oh
Packer
no.
fans' hearts, but
Oh no.
but Evero, I watched some of the Denver games or
Ugh.
watched some of the Denver film from last year, and I saw him putting 3, 4 DNs at edge, like with
Right.
Draymond Jones, and
Yep.
putting linebackers, converting them into edge rushers, which I think Quake could probably play some edge, but uh, yeah, like you have strength
Right.
in numbers when it comes to the D line. You can control the trenches, you can control the game.
I love this. I love this take. If for no other reason that my boy Amar is out there probably crying in as he's watching this. He's a big Evero fan, and the fact that the Packers could have had him twice, like
Whew.
the initial like interview process where Matt chose Joe Barry, and then could have had him again this offseason
Yeah,
and said, "Nah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one."
and
All right, all
I
right. We're
hope.
gonna get
Yeah,
we're gonna get off that. We don't want to talk
yeah,
about down.
okay.
We're not getting this is the start of camp,
Yeah, yeah,
Malcolm.
yeah.
We're
Just
supposed to be up here.
program,
Um,
programming, programming. Back to the program.
exactly. Okay, we talked a little bit ago about like Brian being a little outside the norm when it comes to Green
hmm
Bay, as far as being maybe taking things. I don't want to say chances, but being comfortable enough to see a guy who has good tape and maybe doesn't fit every single threshold.
Yeah.
With that in mind, were you surprised they took Jaden Reed? Because I would have thought like prior during the draft process, that's a guy I looked at who I was like, oh, I love his game, but there's no way
Yeah,
the Packers take him, and then they took him. Were you surprised?
yeah. I was surprised. I was only surprised because I let myself be fooled again and think they were all in on Jackson Smith and Jigba for maybe a couple weeks.
Right.
Uh,
You and
I
the
was
entire internet. Like,
right,
right.
right. But I would say that I was only surprised that he was taken in the second round. Like I think Jaden Reed watched him at Michigan State, and he's not only a baller, he's a competitive guy.
Right.
And I think that's the attitude that the Packers want to bring in, is guys that's ready to compete, hard nosed. It don't matter if you're 5'10", as you know, people in my comments constantly reminding me. But or it don't matter if you're
Nice.
6'10", you know what I'm saying? Like we want guys to compete, and Jaden Reed, he plays a lot bigger than 5'10". So I think they seen that and was like, hey, quick game, screen game, yak game, like he fits. Those are the thresholds that matter the most.
Love it. Love that. That's the threat. Yes, 100% correct. Yes, I love that. I think Brian would appreciate that.
Yeah.
So do you have? Let's ask you this: do you have a ranking? Do you have like 5 to 1 the rookies you're most excited about? Because it's like you said, it's an exciting class overall. But is
Yeah.
there like a like? Do you have a list of dudes who like these are the guys I'm most excited about?
Okay. If I had to say uh, five, I'll probably go with Anthony Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Uh, just
People
seeing if
love
he could.
him. People love him.
I
My
I I
goodness.
I like what he could potentially offer.
Right.
Like you know, you can't really know with 7 round picks until you get him out on the field. Uh, but he shows some coverage ability. Look, shows that he could cover from depth, which is I think most important in the Joe Barry defense because we
Yes.
play so much soft zone, and mind you, the safeties have to be able to cover as well.
Right.
So if he could offer that to the Packers, he could carve out a role pretty quick. Um, I would have to say four. I'll probably go with Luke Musgrave, and that's surprising because I think everybody's expecting him to be tight end one,
Yeah, I think
and
most of those people are in for a surprise. I'd be
yeah,
surprised if he's tight end one coming out the gate.
yeah,
Like, I don't think people understand how tough that transition is
yeah,
from college to
and
the
and
pros at that position.
and granted that he missed most of the season, pretty much missed
Right.
the whole season this
Yeah.
past season with things left to prove. It's hard to expect him to make the curve that fast. Can I break the rules a little bit? I want to do like a
Yeah.
3A and 3B. I think
Of
three.
it's your stream, dude. Whatever you want. Yeah, of course.
3A, I would put the other tight end, Tucker Craft.
Yes, sir.
I'm really high on Tucker Craft, and again, somebody I have to wait and see if he can really solidify himself as a wide tight end.
Right.
We projected him to have that blocking upside, but I did see a little bit of lack of functional strength on the bottom half. But when I seen him in t-shirts and shorts, he looked pretty stocky on the lower half. So maybe he was in the gym over the summer.
There you go.
But if he can show that he's a solid blocker and a solid receiver, I think he has great yak ability. I think he could possibly be that tight end one that we probably weren't expecting.
All
But
right.
three
I like
B
it.
is 3B is Jaden Reed.
There
Uh,
you go.
again, I think Packer fans as a whole just kind of always wanted like a legit slot receiver, of course,
Right.
outside of Randall
Oh,
Cobb.
people have been
Outside of Randall Cobb,
screaming for it for
yeah,
years. Yes.
yeah, and he's a.
Yes.
I didn't even mention how well of a route runner he is. He has the release. Again, he played on the outside, so it's not like he was getting open looks all the time in the slot.
Right.
So he's bringing outside abilities to the inside, and if I think with more space and opportunity with Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs on the outside, he could be productive if he could beat out some more Toure for that wide receiver three. Uh,
I feel that.
Going on
Definitely.
to two, and this I don't know how
Oh, here
many
we go.
times you
Here
I
we
don't know
go.
how many times you heard about this player, but Anders Carlson. Anders Carlson
What a
is
choice!
probably
Putting the kicker at 2. All right.
Anders Carlson is going to play one of the most important. roles this year,
I
which is
love it.
kicker. And as we know, the kicking team, special teams, granted it
Oh
hasn't been
boy.
all Mason Crosby's fault. It hasn't been all
No,
Mason
no,
Crosby's
yeah,
fault.
I feel you. I feel
But
you.
he is coming and he's pretty much going to be the stepping stone or the foundation
Right.
of building this special teams back up, building this
Yeah.
field goal team back up. And if he could hit those 50-yard field goals in December,
Pretty important.
January,
Pretty important stuff right there. Right?
man, like I think he's a mature prospect, 25 years of age.
Right.
So hopefully he can bring that maturity to the special teams and kicking game and
Look.
knock down some clutch field goals. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be
Oh,
kicking a lot of them this
there'll be a
year.
few. There will be a few.
There
I
will be a
mean,
few.
man knows how rough it was in
He
the red zone last year. Who knows what it'll be this year? But yeah,
he
exactly.
got big shoes to fill. No pun intended.
No
So
question. No question.
and I think number one is it's MV. I mean LVN. I almost said MVS. It's LVN
No
Lucas
doubt.
Van Ness.
Right.
I think especially with Rashawn Gary, possibly missing some games. This
Right.
this couldn't be a more timely pick. I know we're tired of going. I know we're tired of going defense in the first round, but it makes
Right.
sense. It makes too much sense almost.
Yeah.
If I would say the only other player I probably would have picked over LVN was that's not Jackson Smith and Jigba, of course, was Brian Branch. I thought Brian Branch was
Okay.
worthy of that 13th
It's
overall pick.
fascinating to hear people's opinion of him because it's like I loved his tape, but then he tested so poorly. That's when I was like, "Oh, the Packers will never take him." And I
Yeah,
love the
that
fact that they ended up trading with Detroit so Detroit could take him. Like,
yeah,
who
and
thought
I
saw
did a
that coming?
breakdown. I did a breakdown on Brian Branch, and he didn't get picked, but I loved every minute
I
of
like
that
him. I
breakdown.
like his game. I'm with you,
But
no doubt.
Lucas Van Ness, I'm so excited for his game. I think his mentality and motor will flash instantly. Day one, that's going to be something that in the
Right.
preseason they're going to be like, "Why are you playing so hard? It's just preseason." But it's like
Like, slow down, kid.
that's the
Right.
attitude that he brings, and adding that with again adding that Rashawn Gary and
Yes.
to
Yes,
Rashawn Gary's
sir.
mentality and what he brings is
In.
just
I'm all in.
all out violence.
I
You
lo-
know, all out.
Which
I
they
think
need. They need more of that
they
on
need
defense.
they
I'm
need it.
all with that.
I'm all for it.
I love it. One final thing before I let you go. We got the Big Mac breakdown here at Cheesehead
Hmm.
TV. Malcolm, I can't thank you enough for your time. This is a non-rookie. I want to like it's all rookies so far. I just want to give you one kind of non-rookie question, just because I know you did a breakdown of his game, and I'm really excited about Devontae Wyatt in year
Yeah.
two. And I know you, like I said, you broke him down. What do you see? What do you think is going to happen? How do you think he progresses and/or develops in 2023? Because man, the talent is there. It's just a question of
Hmm.
A, obviously getting him on the field, which hopefully will happen, but B,
Yeah.
him continuing to build off of what he did last year.
Well, I think it'll start with the functional strength for Devontae Wyatt. He has a great motor, has all the twitch in the world for a defensive lineman his size, but it's really in his functional strength. Can he stack blocks so that it opens up opportunities for Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker behind him? Uh, can he hold the point of attack as well? Like the Packers want to play gap in the half defense, so they don't want him to get too far upfield. Don't want
Right.
him to, take themselves out the play. And he did that. He did that to himself quite a bit last year. Just need to he needs to kind of recognize blocks in the run game. As far as a pass rusher, he flashed a lot as a pass rusher last year, and that's something that I'm excited about. And around he's going to be or he is 25, excuse me.
Mhm.
So that's around the age where you start to see D linemen kind of coming to their own. And granted, he's still a rookie and on his second year of his contract, but
Mhm.
I think if the maturity is already there, then I don't see why we shouldn't expect a lot from him this year as far as a D line. Now on the rundowns, I think that's all Kenny and TJ. But I
I'm
think
with
with
you.
his
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and I want them two to play together on rundowns a lot, which I mentioned in TJ Slaton's breakdown. But
Yes.
Devontae Wyatt, if the Packers like to run their penny fronts, their light fronts with three
Those
down linemen,
two
three line.
guys, three guys. Right.
Yeah, so they like to run their light boxes. If he's in on that play, and Kenny Clark and or TJ Slaton is eating up the blocks, I think he uses his twitch. I think that's his best attribute. But if he could add some functional strength along with that twitch, I think we're in good business with Devontae Wyatt. So
I love it.
I could see him getting I could see him getting 5 sacks this year. I could see him getting at least five.
Um, I think yeah, I think. I mean, I don't even think that's the ceiling. I think he could like 8 to
Yeah,
10 if
yeah,
he's a given the opportunities and b like both getting on the field and allowed to like okay
yeah.
go get the
Go,
quarterback, go
go, go,
jet,
go.
like whatever. But also he's got to build on like we said, like he's got to build on what he did last year. Like, and there were certainly
Yeah,
moments where you could see some teachable moments as far as like,
right.
okay, don't take yourself out of the play and things of that nature. But I'm with you, man. I love his kind of ceiling. I think he hasn't even
Yeah,
begun to scratch it. Like, there's
at
zero
all.
doubt there.
And we get him on a rookie contract until he's 29.
That's the thing.
So,
He was an older rookie, right? Like he was 24, and
yeah,
I remember there were a number of Packers fans just like, "That's an old rookie." It's like, yeah. So now hopefully
yeah,
he matures like that. Defensive line traditionally in the NFL takes a little longer to acclimate. So
yeah.
hopefully, yeah, he hits the ground running
And,
this year and shows them what's what. I'm down
and not and not to mention he's already bringing the championship pedigree from the other G,
from
the
yep,
Georgia Bulldogs, and
yes sir,
I like to say, and can I curse?
yeah, of course.
Okay, I wanted to make sure, but I describe the Georgia defense as a run through a motherfucker face. Just
That's
run
it.
through a motherfucker
Yes
face.
sir.
And
The
just run through a
Marshawn Lynch
motherfucker
quote that
face
lives forever. I
and,
love.
and,
Okay,
and
Malcolm,
don't
can I just tell
stop.
you this?
Yeah.
You are in good company because not now you have asked and Matt LaFleur asked if they could curse on this channel. So yes,
Oh,
you join Matt LaFleur in asking if you can curse. Yes, mother, you can absolutely fucking curse. Yes, no
okay.
doubt. I love it.
Just
And run
be
through a motherfucking face. That's what I expect Devontae Wyatt to do this year.
yeah,
I
yeah,
absolutely
me
love it.
too. I can't
Malcolm,
wait.
Malcolm, I cannot thank you enough for the time, man. People, Packers fans worldwide, make sure you check out Malcolm's YouTube channel, Big Mac Breakdowns. I'll have, like I said, the link will be in the description of this video. Malcolm, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for having me. Thank you to you guys at Cheesehead TV.